Hey friends, welcome back. Today I have a mini tutorial for you guys on how to make these swimming inspired sugar cookies because I've been swimming a lot and I just had my first ever open water swim race, so I wanted to bring some cookies to enjoy with my friends after the race. The cookie recipe is on my website, I'll link that in the description, and the shape I used is actually a candy corn, but a round or circular cutter would work too. For the icing, we're gonna need 4 colors. I like to use Color Mill, but it has to be the aqua blend. Otherwise, it'll mess up your royal icing. We have white and black, and then 3 different shades of blue, and the swimmer silhouette stencil. It's not necessary, but it makes things a lot easier. First thing we're gonna do is flood the sky in that pale blue color. We just draw the perimeter and then fill it in with icing. I like to have a toothpick on hand to kind of pull the icing around to make sure it's fully coating the cookie. And then to add a little bit of dimension, we're gonna add white clouds. I just drew a couple squiggles and then pulled them around with the toothpick to make it look like they're kind of those wispy ones that are floating through the sky. You can do whatever cloud shape you want here. And you don't have to do the clouds at all. I just think it adds a lot of nice dimension to the cookie. So the whole thing isn't just blocks of blue. Once we've done the sky, we can work on the water. So I went with a deeper blue. Same thing, do the perimeter and then fill it in. And I added a turquoisey color in some dots and then swirled it around with a toothpick to create the look of water. Another step that you don't have to do, but it just adds more dimension to the cookie and makes it more realistic and more exciting to look at. The river that we were doing the race in tends to be choppy, so I wanted to make sure I really swirled up that water. Now we have to let this fully dry before we move on to the next step, which is adding our swimmer. There's kind of 2 technique options here. One, you can put the stencil down and then use a palette knife to brush the icing on and then pull the stencil off. The second technique I found actually a bit easier, and that was just to use the stencil as a guideline to pipe the swimmer onto the cookie. So if you don't have the stencil, you can just pipe the swimmer directly using an image as a reference. Once again, I recommend letting the cookies fully dry before moving on to the next step, where we use the different shades of blue to add little waves to finish the cookie off with some nice texture. I basically just did little squiggly lines right underneath the swimmer at the surface of the water there. And that's it. I would call these very beginner friendly because I myself am a beginner sugar cookie decorator. And I know this is a super niche type of cookie decorating, but if you're watching this, I hope you found it helpful.